there, collectors. Here we are at the Cornfield show in Wilmington, Ohio. It's a great show, about 600 tables. And what is it, Friday morning, I guess we are, right, Ob? Something like that.
Yes.
Quite a few people here, having a lot of fun, sold a few things. And I always tell you, try to give you a heads up to make this show because it's well worth it. A lot of nice people to talk to, and you can take your time. It's not rush because it's not over mobbed like a gun show would be. It's very, very good. So we can show you some of the things that we have at our table if you like. And, where do you want to start, Ob? Start at this end? Okay. Got some...
Those your U.S. patches there?
No. I haven't figured out what the U.S. patches are yet, Ob. But you can see we have an assortment of stuff here.
Nice RLBs.
Yeah, a couple of really nice RLBs and a couple of really cherry bayonets. I think we just got these in. If you guys saw the video, they. I mean, just the condition of these is. Look at the blade on that. It's just like a mirror made by the F.W. Holler Company. Nice thing. And the other one's in the same condition. A couple of Italian pieces, some navies, government official Diplos, nice SAs, an assortment of armies and Red Cross, Tino, RAD, a fantastic Bonschutz that I just got in. It's really, really nice with a mint set of hangers. Very, very nice to find pieces like that. Good RAD and some DLVs. And then we have a nice case of some of the pricier things and better conditioned things. Some real gems in there.
The curtain above us is reflecting off the glass.
Oh, well, that's not good, is it?
No, it's not good.
Okay, all right.
I need one of those spotters.
Yeah. Yeah, some more navies and second looks. And we got hard to talk over this loudspeaker, but we got a nice hunting shooting type banner here. This was probably displayed in a shooting club somewhere, I would think, and it goes back to 1927. That's neat with all the bullion and the tassels and stuff. It's a great item to have to accent your hunting shooting collection.
Who's this guy back here?
Oh, there's Big Tom Jr. How you doing, Tom?
Good.
You making any sales back there, Tom?
It's a little slow here on the Friday afternoon, unfortunately.
Oh, let me throw 100 on the table to make it look good. Yeah, and we got a nice Corvette here. It's a 50-year veterans Corvette. Kind of cool. And I like this plaque back here with it's probably a chamois deer, I think.
Yeah, first prize, 1936.
Yeah. Looks like it's full of nicotine to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know you are.
Yeah, I am. That's for sure. A couple of nice porcelains and some radiator badges from the NSKK. Some good things. So that's all. Yeah, we only have 2 tables here, but it's quite a bit of stuff, and we sold a few things already, but it's still early, so we'll see what happens the rest of the day, and then we'll try to take you around a little bit and go around the show. Well, we're making the rounds here at the Cornfield show, and we've come across a man here, George, your name is, right?
Yep.
Nice to see you, George.
Yep.
And collectors, you might want to see this. George bought this piece from an estate from a veteran, and the veteran made a box for this little piece that we have in here, and I think you'll really like it. When you open this up, just feast your eyes on that, collectors. I know you're going to say, oh, that's some repro or something. Collectors, this is a beautiful, beautiful handmade piece. And it may be that there's more than one of them that were made. It's possible.
I was told a handful.
We'll take it out, and what you see here on the blade, the blade is a small roses damask. It's not artificial damask. It's genuine damask. And of course, it has a Leibstandard Adolf Hitler with the SS Eagle, and on the opposite side, to my loyal fighter, Christmas 1939 with a AH signature here. It's very, very rare to see anything that's real that would have a Hitler signature like that, which leads me to believe that this was a very important piece. As you collectors know, this was kind of during the Polish campaign.
Right after it, I think.
Right after it, and I think Hitler may have been quite pleased with what the LAH did.
Yep.
But also, collectors, if you look at the beautiful work done in the cross guards here, we think they're probably nickel silver by the color of them, but the detail is absolutely exquisite with a real tiny tang nut. Nobody has a wrench the size of this, so we haven't ever taken it apart.
It's too tight for your hand, too. I've tried it.
Yeah, but it would be nice to see if it's marked by a maker. But it's interesting too. The grip is actually the same length as a standard grip, but it's been made slimmer and shaped a little different. And it's truly an exquisite piece. And I'll bet you there were 2, 3, 4 of these maybe made and given to.
From what I was told from his estate, that however that particular army, that division, LAH,
Right.
there was evidently like 4 or 5 battalions, whatever it is. I have no idea, but supposedly he gave them to the commander of each one of them at
Well,
Christmas
that
Day
would make sense.
after they bagged them.
We see a lot of stuff like this. It's reproduction, but this.
It's just too much work.
This I believe is an original.
If you look
piece.
close, it looks like it had gilt in that swastika at one time. To get the light right on it.
I don't know. You may be right. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. It still looks good the way it is.
It does.
So, and then there's somebody's hair here. Is that Sepp Dietrich's hair? Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we met our old buddy here. What's your name again?
Joe
sir?
Pulsinell.
Oh, Pulsinell.
Pulsinell, yeah.
Joe's a retired pilot. Good friend. I guess I knew you. 30,
yeah.
40 years.
For a minute or two, right?
But Joe's come over here with kind of an interesting SS dagger. As you can see, it's an early example with what I call the Type 2 chain link. It looks like maybe 1 or 2 of these connecting tabs may have been replaced on it, but that happens because these type of links were made out of very thin nickel, and just the twisting and turning caused that. And chances are that was period done too.
Yep.
But the chain is all correct. It looks really nice.
Clearly Type A, Tom, with the nasal septum.
Right, and plus here, I like to see this real light stamping of the Coulter's icon on these kind of chains. That conforms, and grip is in beautiful condition. The scabbard paint is original, and look at the condition of it. It's really, really nice. See that? You don't see many of these where the original paint is still that good because the chain, with that's really, really good. All nickel fittings throughout, and then the blade is just, boy, I don't think you could find a nicer blade
killer.
than that, Joe. That is a
pleaser.
killer. That is really, really a killer. Got all the grain in it, all the frosting in the motto, and then of course it's an unmarked piece. So you look at all that and you say, oh, that's a pretty nice dagger. But then for those that aren't looking hard, pulls it. Whoa! You go, what is this? And if you look closely, you'll see the initials WT there. And then to even make it even better, I don't know whether the camera can get it, but the serial number.
I just can't get it. Right, there it is. Okay.
Got it?
Yep, go ahead.
And then the serial number of our man is engraved around the tang nut, which is the first time I've ever seen that done, Joe.
Good
Yeah,
shot.
I've never. There's a great shot. Here's the
Here's
top.
the top, in case we didn't get it.
Whitman Thomas.
Whitman Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, I had my ass on backwards when they made that dagger.
My dad.
That's and this dossier. What is it? 130
Oh,
pages?
134, 135 pages.
What's his
Roscoe.
name? Werner Toms?
Werner Toms.
He was just looking at it a little bit. He started out in race and resettlement, and then wound up in the Waffen SS. He was with an artillery ersatz battalion, which is kind of a standby, but he was stationed in Prague. So he was probably one of
With Heydrich.
Heydrich's boys. And you can see by the picture, he looks like a very nice man, doesn't he, Joe?
Oh yeah, he's a. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a real peach, I'll bet. But that's quite a dagger.
You ever seen a number as low as that before, Dad?
It's a low number.
What
12. It's 1232, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's a real low number. When was his date of entry? Do they have that on here? Oh yeah, here we go. He goes back to 1932. So he was a long-term SS guy. So I'm sure reading through this dossier is very, very interesting material.
Even his shoe size and his hat size, if you want to get down to it.
Oh yeah, you need that for the uniform that you're going to have made for him. right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I don't know how you come across such great stuff.
Well, Tom, a good friend of mine, an impeccable collector, he emailed me in poor health.
Yeah.
Says, would you mind coming up, taking a look at my collection? I was proud to go up there. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And we talked, we made a deal, and here it is. So,
Oh, it's a wonderful piece. I would say this is the way it would roll. Everything going for it, plus the dossier.
yeah, it's a winner.
This is a real winner.
Yeah.
This is what I call, without any doubt, investment quality.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking a look at it.
That's great. Thanks, Joe. Good luck with
Bye,
it.
Thomas.
Yep.
See you in Louisville. Thank you, Robbie.
You will. We're over here with Joe Pulcinelli and Bill Given, and we understand they got some remotely good things. I don't know. We'll kind of see. You guys can be the judge of that, I guess. I haven't seen this stuff myself yet, so we'll all be the judge.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
You got some good stuff?
Yeah, let's see what we go.
Let's
Come over here,
see
Tom.
it. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, well, I'll let you tell the collectors what we have here.
Well, it looks like a dagger,
Very good.
and I think it's German too.
Excellent.
Okay, we're getting there. Let's look at the crossguard, and what I see here is wings that go way up in the air. So this, I mean, I would think, is it going to be a diplomat or?
Yes, Tom. The eagle faces opposite the pommel eagle,
I
so it
never
makes
knew
it.
that, Joe.
Yeah, well, now you do. You're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
You can
Yeah,
buy me dinner.
that knot. I mean, that's awful little, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
Is
notice that. Yeah, these are specific to these kind of daggers. A
Oh, you
special.
mean they're littler? They're littler? I can't
They're
pronounce it after that
smaller.
Coke
Yes.
you gave me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, this is a really, really beautiful thing here.
Bill, come
the
here.
grip
Bill,
plates.
come in here. Help with the narrative on this one.
I'm looking at this, and
Yeah.
the spanner. I have to say, I've never seen
been
a
apart.
spanner that's that good.
Never been
That
apart.
has never been apart.
And the patina on that indicates
Yeah.
that it's just never been messed
Yeah.
with.
And this is something collectors, when you see something like that, don't think you got to take it apart to see the numbers. You don't. We know they're there.
You're going
Doesn't
to
matter.
maybe destroy something, an answer that you already know.
No, that's true. And look at these straps. These are for the highest officials.
They are.
And you'll note that the gilding on the mounts, and look at the beautiful herringbone design in the brocade. Fantastic stuff. Is there any wear at all on these?
Very little.
Almost nothing. Just
None.
a little swing right there, because that was the heavier end. And a little swing there to match up with it. The brocade on the felt on the back is tremendous too.
They're very stiff as well to the feel.
Nice pair I've ever
Very
seen.
stiff.
The diplomatic knot here is absolutely a treasure collector's. The odds of finding an original diplomatic knot anymore is just phenomenal. There's just none around, and this one is in wonderful condition, and it would lead you to believe that it is original to the dagger, I would think.
And Tom, am I correct in thinking only Alcazo produced these daggers?
Alcozo, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
the Eichhorns are all so-called GO because Eichhorn only made the one type, and they sold it to both organizations. So and it's interesting too because the Alcozo diplomatic crossguard is bigger than the Alcozo government official crossguard. The wreath on the swastika is much bigger. So that's what you want to see on these. And they can very easily be mistaken as Eichhorn when you first look at them because of the size of them. So let's just, the grip plates are beautiful too. It's kind of interesting that this dagger is in immaculate condition, and you look at the serrations on the top ring, and the eyelet on the bottom ring shows wear. It's kind of interesting why that would be, because the dagger itself is just really, what I think is probably the guy's handhold. Wouldn't you think?
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing that talks to you. You know, you like to see something where there's humanity involved.
For human touch.
Human touch.
Hopefully the blade does not disappoint.
Oh boy, what an awful blade.
I know.
Oh, that's terrible. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Let's
having
get
a
the
blade
meat
like
and
that.
cheese plate out.
Wow, that is really something.
Beautiful.
And unmarked, is it?
No, it actually is
Oh,
marked
it's
on the obverse.
Oh, well, you got to take the dagger apart and rebuild
Oh,
the blade.
okay.
Yeah.
But just the way it was assembled.
You don't have to know what you don't know or already know.
Now, this is something you just leave alone. And I like the blue washer too. That's the kind of
Well,
thing
I'm glad
wanna
you
see.
like it, Tom. So I'm going to add something else to this.
Yeah.
It's actually attributed to a ambassador to the Vatican, Dr. Fritz Menshausen.
So this could have been in with the Pope. also?
Exactly.
The Pope
It was
probably,
featured in a 2003 Herman Historic Auction.
I think the Pope from those days too was kind of accused of being a little.
Well, he was a little
bit,
sympathetic,
kind of in the gray
but
area.
Well, he didn't want the place bombed.
right.
And I don't blame
But
him.
here's the actual catalog listing,
Yeah, there we
which
go.
ended up to Tom Johnson's collection, which ended up to a friend collector of mine.
Yeah.
And here it is right here. Full dossier on it from,
Yeah. Isn't that great?
yeah.
What was this man's name again? I wanted to
His
hear you
name was
pronounce
Dr.
that.
Fritz Karl Menshausen. Menshausen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very nice that it has the full documentation
That is
to go with the
nice, yeah.
dagger.
Yeah.
And obviously it was not worn very much.
Well, except for that little bit on the.
And are those sleeve inserts in the
Well, that's the Alcozo thing. You got to see those sleeve inserts.
I got you.
Yep. No, this is 100% original with the blade in backwards, but done by the factory. Actually, for some reason.
It was on a Monday
Yeah, may have been Monday morning first thing.
or Friday night.
That could have been.
And you know, Tom and Robbie and Joe.
For comparison.
Not
Here we
often
go.
do you go to a show and you see two Diplos with original knots.
Look at there.
And I
Huh?
thought mine was nice till I saw Joe's.
Yeah. Well, yours is pretty damn nice too, Bill. They're really the same dagger except for the patina, that's all. Somebody cleaned yours 40 years ago
20
and
years from
nobody
now,
ever
it'll
cleaned
look
it.
like that if
Yeah.
nobody bothers it.
Yeah, and here again, collectors, see the size of the wreath and all on the Diplo version. Notice how the heads are identical, all the feathering and so forth. This dagger apparently was not exposed to the sun maybe as much as Mr. Polsinelli's piece.
It stayed more true to the color.
Yeah, and let's see what the spanner looks like on this one. Not bad, but probably apart a couple
We
times.
could compare them side by side.
Yeah, there you can see how the new one looked versus the one that's been opened.
I'm gonna try my best on that. I can't guarantee anything, but yep,
Yeah.
that's good. Yep.
Yeah. Let's just take a look at the blade on this one too.
I'll grab it.
Yeah, don't let me drop that. Oh boy, that's a winner too. Well, it's got a little bit of age
little
in
bit,
it,
yeah,
little
it
bit,
look-
but not nothing bad.
Commensurate with the wear of the dagger.
Yeah. And see, another thing too, that this is the trademark that you'll see starting in 1937. The Diplo government official came out in 1937, and usually, where's the scabbard to this? You got the scabbard? Yeah. You'll see the two side screws like that. On a later piece, you'll see like a headless screw from Alcozo. Plus, it has the blue washer too. This is, as Joe's is also. They're both early initial production pieces. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
I'll bet these are going for a couple $100 these days, aren't they?
If I could just get an offer of something like that. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
And Tom, I'd like to show you one more thing before you leave. As Bill getting collected here. Fairly rare.
WKC. That's interesting.
WKC.
Yeah.
People usually expect Alcazo or Eichhorn.
No, WKC.
But I think you have a pool table video, maybe number 11, with a grip emblem.
I've had a couple of WKCs. I know they made them.
What do we got here?
This is a water police. What do you got, Bill? Okay. That's nice, Joe.
Thank you. And
Yeah, that's a WKC.
so, Tom, these are
scabbard, yeah.
fairly rare, I think. I read, I think in Johnson's book, there's only 250 were authorized for wear.
These are very, very rare. And what I like to see too on an original, look at the work that went into that pommel. I mean, that is not something they were doing in the 60s. I mean, that really talks to you. No, that's a nice dagger, and it's really, really hard to find. And,
Very rare.
And I'm also happy to see you have the correct hangers with it.
Yes.
The correct hangers worn with this dagger were naval hangers. Yep.
That's it. Then I didn't have a special Sea Customs hanger.
No, everybody, not everybody, a lot of people put these hangers that were actually made for the Army Ridge special dagger that came out in '41. They made a bunch of hangers for the dagger and then wound up not producing the dagger, so all those hangers were around and everybody thought, oh, they got to be for these sequelies, and they're
They were
not.
just standard Navy.
Now look what we got here. This is something right up my line. I love Imperial pommels with the real high finials. That really is a beautiful thing to me. And this particular dagger is really interesting for the amount of detail that's in each of the panels that go around the pommel. One thing that collectors want to see too, this is a cross on the top, but it's squared off. If they didn't square the cross off, it would tear the uniform. And on reproductions, very often you'll see a cross on the top, and you know right away that's no good. And then we have a really beautiful ivory grip. I like the difference of the colors. This kind of talks to you. This is the way the dagger was sitting, and the knot is nice. It's incorrectly tied though for Imperial.
That's right.
But we'll let that slide.
Bill, where could you find such a dagger?
Well, that actually came from my friend Joe Posinelli.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
That's why we're
No,
partners.
you're welcome.
It sounds to me like Mr. Polsinelli was just trying to work that in somehow.
I think he just didn't give me time.
You know what else I see too? Mr. Polsinelli was wearing this dagger all the time
Look at
because he wore out What were you doing? Wearing it for Halloween, Joe?
My dress uniform
yeah.
for flying.
But look at that, though, collectors.
Look at
Doesn't
that.
that talk to
Joe
you?
probably tied the knot.
He's the one that tied it incorrectly, yeah. See, collectors, how the bottom eyelet is hardly worn at all, but the top eyelet has all this wear because this was where the weight of the piece was. Now, has it got a blade in it, or
It's just a piece of wood.
just a piece of wood?
Oh, wait a minute, no.
Oh, wow, nice piece of wood. Well, here we go, guys. This is something probably about 1902, 1903. One of the first ones made with that early small Wyersburg Nighthead. I doubt if the washer's original, but it looks good.
It flows.
And it's got a beautiful maidenhair blade, and this is really a top-notch Imperial dagger.
Thank you, Tom. One last little thing
Yeah.
before we finish is
Oh, gee, what is this? Wow. Boy, I love this. Collectors, we don't see many Hitler Youth Leader daggers anymore. They're almost never around. Whenever I see one, the first thing I look at, I look at the leather, but not really as close as I look at the wire on the grip. The grips on these were made of carved wood underneath, and the wire simply wrapped around. And of course, wood shrinks over the time, and a lot of times you'll find these are like a slinky, you know. So it's really a pleasure to see one that's
nice and tight.
Nice and tight like that. Also, sometimes you'll see brads or screws, and this is the later version with the brads in the top.
That's the top of the pommel pop.
Yep, you can see the HJ insignia. And what we're looking at here too that's especially nice, something you almost never ever see. All of the silvering is on this crossguard, and that is very rare to see because the crossguard was actually made of aluminum. And silvering, as you guys know, doesn't really hold up well on aluminum. Look at the crispness of the knot pattern that's put in there. The leather is absolutely perfect and original. This dagger, it virtually doesn't even appear to be moving. Oh, beautiful blade. Wow, look at that. Blut und Ehre. Original washer. Wow. This is an acorn piece. It's not a Horster as we usually see.
Right.
And I should have pointed out that we should have known this is an acorn because the eagle is different. The head is smaller, and if you're looking at it compared to the other one, you can tell right away it's an acorn. Another thing with acorns, a lot of times the scabbards will be aluminum and they don't hold up well. This one has a steel scabbard, and that may be one of the reasons why it has retained this beautiful condition. But that's probably one of the best HJ leaders I've ever seen.
And what a nice combination that would make.
Wow. Oh, boy, look at that. Wow. Look at that.
751 Anton Wingen. Picasso.
Anton Wingens always have the steel base, too,
Yes.
not the pot metal, even though they're...
And that motto is just...
This is not the real early version. It's the in-between version because it has a ricasso.
Correct.
But to find a blade like that is impossible.
Joe, can you
This
tilt
is-
a little more? Put it more...
That way?
Yes, a little more...
That dagger is virtually mint. Oh, it is mint.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Boy, is that a killer. Oh.
That's got to be the best youth knife I've seen in a couple of years.
Yeah, Joe has great stuff.
Really hard to... Well, you know, Joe has great taste.
Well, we
Just
all
like
do.
you, Bill. Just like you.
The old saying, Tom, the good stuff always sells. There's always an interest.
And it's so fun to share with the collecting
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And I don't know whether you agree with me or not, but when you see a piece like this or that, or anything that you've been showing us, you may say, wow, that seems expensive to me. But when you consider what you're buying, is it really? And the way we've seen it in this hobby, especially with rare pieces that are in nice condition, in a couple of years, the price you paid is almost a joke. the way it seems. Because the more sophisticated the hobby gets, the more in demand these great pieces. I mean, I know it's silly, but I have people sometimes they'll see something come up in one of my unboxing videos and they'll call, I want that piece. And Debbie will say, well, we don't even have it priced yet. I don't care. I want that piece.
Yeah.
That's a nice position.
It's a good position, but there are people in that position that, and this sometimes is what drives prices up also. You know?
Absolutely. But go back on your catalogs back 20, 30 years. And just do a research on that on an HJ liter, it's $1,200, and at the time, well, I know that's expensive. Yeah, I know that's expensive collectors, you'd say, but it's mint condition, and 20 years from now you'll be glad, and you were right every single time.
And it's not just inflation. It's absolute growth in value.
That's correct.
And desirability. And years ago, one of the reasons that maybe the prices were kind of low even for their time was that we didn't have any real idea of how many of these pieces existed. Now we pretty much, by what we've seen over the years, we know what's really rare, what isn't rare, good condition. I mean, in those days we didn't even know what good condition was sometimes, It just, so when you see a piece like this, my heart beats a little faster.
It makes our plaque move.
Yeah, it makes our plaque move, yeah.
Alrighty, I'll call, that'll be later.
Okay. How'd you know this was up?
Oh, I don't know. Wild guess.
3-2, God.
Well, collectors, we're still wandering around the great Cornfield show, and we've come across Mr. Robert Evans. Oh, no. Oh, well, there you go.
It's a blue.
What are you going to do? We've come across Mr. Robert Emenegger. I was so excited I spilled my drink. So that's the way it is. Too many hands.
There you go.
How you doing, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Oh, good. You're all dressed up.
Thank
You
you.
look pretty good here.
Always like to present.
Yeah, and I notice also you've got stuff that kind of goes in with a good appearance.
Yeah, I think presentation's very important.
I think it's all important. It's
Yep.
everything.
Thank you.
Even spilling your drink once in a
Well,
while.
you didn't spill it on
doesn't hurt.
me, so I'm okay with it.
Well, I'm all right too. I only spilled it on Robbie. The
There you
camera
go.
guy.
There you go.
We're over here. We were kind of entranced with this U-boat display,
Okay.
and I see that you've got a dagger,
Yep.
and it's attributed to a Corvette and Capitan.
Yep.
Robert, I don't know how to pronounce his
Geisa.
Geisa,
Yep.
Briggs
Guys,
Marine, and he was awarded the Knight's Cross on December 31st, 1941.
Correct.
And you say that the dagger corresponds with that
the
too?
dagger is the scabbard is engraved with that date, and it matches his award date of the Knight's Cross.
Wow.
Yeah, and so Geisa was commander of U-98.
Yeah.
He was also commander of U-177.
Did he sink a lot of tonnage?
He 25 ships. Yeah, he was like 15th in total tonnage sunk of all U-boat commanders.
Well, to win the Knight's Cross too,
Yeah.
he certainly had to be. Did he survive the war?
He did, and he ended up serving in the German Navy in the post-war era.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so I have a dossier on him and have some of his wartime photos and post-war photos, and there were some postcards made of him, and
Wow.
this particular picture is a reproduction, colorized reproduction of one of them, but it shows him with the beard, so he's been on
I was just
patrol.
going to say that was a typical thing. I mean, you're out there for 90 days, 120 days. And,
Water was scarce,
yeah,
so they didn't
yeah.
bathe, they
Yeah.
didn't shave.
I bet they smelled pretty good.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, definitely. And so, but Geisa was a very successful U-boat commander, and
How did you come by the dagger?
well, our mutual friend Bill Given,
Oh, I happen to know Bill.
yeah, Bill had this, and I talked to Bill before the Mac show.
Yeah.
I said, Bill, I'd like to take my collection to a new level, get some pieces that maybe have some provenance and some named pieces. He said, well, it just so happens I've got two, and he said I'm bringing them to the Mac show.
Ah.
So
You met up.
Yeah, I met Bill at the Max. I saw the first one. It's like, man, this is really cool. He pulls out the second one, and it's Geisa, and to go with the other, I'm like, all right, I'll buy them. It's just you just get them.
It's the way it is in the hobby.
Yeah.
I mean, like I always say, if it's a nice piece, if you think it has a good investment potential and you can afford it,
Yeah.
buy the darn thing.
Right.
I mean, it's
So I was all in. And then I went into the show, and if I didn't find a third U-boat dagger for sale under a pile of stuff, and I bought it too. So now I'm all in on U-boats, and so I thought, this piece deserves something.
Yeah, it
you
does.
know,
It
it deserves something. And so I just started thinking about how I would put it together. And, you know, there's places that will enlarge photographs. So I found that's the commissioning photo of U-98.
with the crew.
With this crew.
I like that.
Geisa has the little Maltese cross over his top of his head. That's Geisa.
I see over
Yep,
here. Yeah.
yep, and that was, I think it's dated at the bottom, October 12th, 1940, and that's when he began.
After the war, did he do anything? You said he was with the Navy at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah.
How long did he live? Do you know?
I don't know how old he was when he died, but you know he was up there in his 80s, so he lived a full life.
I think it's really fun to. I mean, you're making this whole thing come alive.
Yes.
When you know, it's more than a hunk of metal.
It's enlivening just to. I had such a good time making it. Actually, I just finished it yesterday, and so I have a second.
Just in time.
Just in time, and yeah, my wife wondered where I was at all the time, and here I'm out to the garage, down to Hobby Lobby, and you know, and getting different materials.
Well, you sound as sick as the rest of us.
Yes,
I'm glad
yes,
to
I've
hear
got it bad. And
How long have you been collecting, Bob?
Well, you know, seriously, only about 4 years.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But I got about 50 daggers now.
Well, you've been hard at work.
Yes, yes. And so, but I've got a second one I'm bringing tomorrow, which is from a different U-boat crew member. And it's similar, but it's also different in appearance. But same size. So come back tomorrow. I'll show you the second one.
Well, maybe we can. I'm just looking at this dagger, and I like the fact that the original portapee is still on it.
Yes.
I mean, it used to be years ago if the portapee had some tattering on it, let's throw that away and put a nice one on there.
Yes.
But this reflects the whole history of the dagger, I think.
Yes.
And it's a real, and I like the way they moved the slide up to keep the frame from breaking it.
Yeah.
And you see that so many times.
Yeah.
And it looks like overall, the dagger shows a lot of wear, which it should.
He wore it.
He wore it, and I like too the wear at the top of the loop, at the top portapee. The way it just, you know, you can imagine his hand holding the pommel, and
and the back is like that too, where it rubbed up against it. You know.
That's why I think the original portapee adds so much to a piece. It plugs in. There was a character to this person.
Yes.
And this, you know,
100% agree.
The hangers, I guess, didn't come with it.
No,
right?
didn't have any hangers.
Yeah.
But this is good enough.
No, it's good enough.
So I thought, well, you know, we'll just give it what it deserves.
As a question, I don't see any engraving on the front of the scabbard. Is it on the back?
No,
of
it's on the
scabbard?
front.
Is it on the-
It's about
Where do I look?
a little bit halfway down.
Ah, gotcha.
see it?
I see it here.
So I
yes.
took a photograph of it,
Yeah.
enlarged it because it's kind of hard to see.
Do you have that? Where's the photograph?
The engraving photograph is
Here
part
it
of
is right here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, see, that talks to you too. You
Sure.
can see that it was done a long time ago. The lacquer has already toned over it.
It was probably his crew could have went together and took up a donation and bought it for him, you know, because he received the Knight's Cross. You know, a lot of times they did that. You know, it's like, hey, here's
sure,
you know, we honor you as
well,
as-
especially these guys. I mean, they must have known that all their buddies, or 80% of their buddies, didn't make it.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
And what they achieved, I mean, it was war.
Yeah. They
these-
depended on the captain to bring them home alive.
This guy was everything.
Yeah, they were celebrities. You know, I mean, that's why they all had like
I
a
think
lot of
when
men.
they come into harbor, they probably were.
But they had photo shoots and postcards made, and they had autographs. They were celebrities.
Well, I think that Germany wanted to show what they were doing here. I mean, this was a big thing. It was not very good for the United States or England, but I mean, this is wartime.
Yeah.
And, what a way to publicize the success that they were having.
It is what it was, you know.
And especially during this time when they were going into Russia and things weren't getting so good, and yet they still had successful end. I mean, they almost stopped all the shipping from America to Europe.
Did a lot of damage. Doing their duty.
Yeah.
But, you know, what are you going to do? You know, it's
Yeah, well,
that's
that was
what
your
happens.
country.
That's right.
Well, it's wonderful. Maybe if we can get back tomorrow, we'll look at the next dagger. You have that one all framed up, or you're going to do that tonight?
No, that was the first one. I had to debate which one to take, because I had just had this little section of table left for display, because everything else, whoops. Oh, there you go, that's my football. That's my football. Yeah, so, but everything else I was selling, so I thought, well, I got a little spot here, so.
Can we show some of your stuff here?
Sure, go ahead.
Robert's got some nice things here, a nice so-called first model railway.
Yep.
Is that a class, I hope?
It is.
All right,
It's got the proper scabbard band.
Oh yeah, I see that. The asteroids.
Yeah.
The grip is right. I can tell by the shape.
Yeah.
And you got a nice HJ knife with
This
a motto.
here is one of the rarest HJ knives that you'll ever see. This is what's called a first model. Okay, this is a EPAC.
Oh, the pack ones.
There was
That's
only.
why we see the big rivets and all.
Yeah,
that is a rare dagger.
And there was only like 3 makers at the beginning:
Yeah.
EPAC, Horster, and Wingen.
Yeah.
And this one's in mint condition. All it has is some runner marks on it, but it's got the blued scabbard, the brown high quality
that's
leather
right,
strap.
collectors. See that scabbard is blue, and that's what we saw on the early ones.
Yeah, this thing
And,
here is.
see how the rivets are there? They're not the normal rivets; they're spatters with it.
I mean, look at this cross grain.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
This knife was produced between January and June of 1933.
Isn't that something?
That's when they switched over to the earliest model.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. With the ricasso on it, you think it's that early?
Yes, it
Even
is.
Still,
Yeah,
with pack, I guess it was.
The first ones had ricassos, and then they went away from it.
you're right.
Then they went back to it.
Yeah, good
You
point.
sold this knife in the 1980s to a collector. I bought it.
Somehow I don't remember that.
But he told me, he said, I bought this and one other one from Tom Whitman in the 1980s.
Well, that's a hell of a dagger, and I'm glad to hear that I'm attributed to it. That's great.
Yep, we appreciate it.
I guess I may have known what it was when I got it.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't, and the guy got a real deal.
Well, we all learn.
Yep, you got some other nice things
Yeah,
here.
got some navels, got some other. I got 3 other mint HJs. These are all Schuttelhoffers. They're RZMs, so they don't have a motto, but beautiful cross grains on those. Some great scabbards on those.
Absolutely.
Yep. And then
Look at the mottos on these.
yeah, so
HJs.
I've got some that are, these are the ones that they've kind of sharpened a bit and played with, and so they have very.
Oh, that was normal. What kid
Normal.
wouldn't sharpen a knife if he's a teenager?
Yep. And then so I've got some private purchase police, and here's a Reichsbahn bayonet with the porta-pee. So
Does it have Reichsbahn markings on it?
no, it doesn't.
But the porta-pee.
But the porta-pee identifies it.
That is a correct Reichsbahn porta-pee.
Yes,
so
yeah,
that's what it
mint
is.
condition.
Yeah.
I like to. I try to sell the best I can. It's just hard to find them.
Well, it looks like you're doing all right
Yep,
now. This
yep.
is all great stuff.
A few hunting things, and some gravity knives, and of course down here we have. I'm big into the hunting and the forestry. That's my thing.
I see you got a nice boar's head there.
Yeah, that thing is crazy. So,
I love the grip on this thing. You say, oh, that grip's too big for it, but then when you start looking at it, it all kind of, it's really a nice.
It's all custom,
Yeah.
You know how they would hit it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And this Cycorn Deluxe is a beauty.
Yeah. Look at the toning on that silver.
Oh yeah.
Just beautiful.
And what I like to see, it's got the extra horns on the. That's the real ones.
It's the real deal. It's stamped and.
See, collectors, on the horns of this thing. See the little tiny horns between the big horns? That's what you'd see on the originals. The copies that they made in the 60s, they didn't bother with
Right,
that. So
right.
that's really some nice things.
Yep. Then
That's a nice forestry.
with the swastika on the ferrule.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and Horster did make them, so you got a good one there.
Yeah. Well, I like to know that I'm selling good stuff, so I study it. I don't get out of my lane.
Yep.
And I want people to buy with confidence.
Well, with only having a few years' experience, I think you're doing an outstanding job. I mean, look at the 3 tables here of outstanding things for someone that's only been collecting under 5 years, right? It's phenomenal. You must be a very smart man.
Well, thanks for the compliments. I appreciate it.
Or you're dealing with the right people.
Yeah, well, I do buy from you.
Well, there's where your problem is.
No, I met a lot of good people, very intelligent people, and it's just like the Stoics say, surround yourself with people that make you better.
I agree with that.
I appreciate you stopping by.
We can't know everything.
Thanks, Bob.
Others. Thank you, Bob.
Take care.